feels alive. Help them sellers shine, reaching new heights. Join the team where the future ignites. Sellers in control, watch their sales grow. Empowered to win with eRank we flow.
Hello, eRank. Happy Thursday and welcome to another eRank Live with me, Pam Duffy, and her Starla Moore. I never know which side you're going to turn up on. And today I think we're going to be doing a bit of Inception. We're going to be on YouTube talking about YouTube and why it could be that thing for the Etsy sellers that a lot of people are sleeping on. And I know it's not as exciting as the other ones, but I think so. Well, I can say pretty much from the two of us here, YouTube's changed our lives. So.
Oh, yeah, and I make a significant amount of money through ad revenue on YouTube as well. So there's always fun to be had on YouTube, whether it be through promoting your Etsy shop, or even if you don't sell on Etsy, promoting whatever it is you do, or maybe you create really entertaining content that people want to watch and you monetize your YouTube channel and make money that way.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to dig into all of this in the next hour, so get your questions ready. But I just want to share something I don't think I've shared actually. But to say how you can start with YouTube and you never know where you're going to end up. I actually started my YouTube channel because I had a foster dog and I was trying to get a home for her. So I was making videos about my foster dog and I failed fostering and she stayed with me. And then I moved on to other things. And finally, I'm in the eRank coaching community space or whatever it's called. But yeah, it's really changed my life, and that's why I wanted to share it with you guys, because I think it's a thing that so many Etsy sellers sort of just be like, nah, I don't want to do that, or that's too difficult, or that doesn't work. So it's like a niche that people are missing out on, I think.
Absolutely, especially if you have a product niche that is really specific that you can tie to an interest group, because then you're not just making, it's not entertaining to anyone to say like, product, look at this thing that you can buy. But you can always tie it to a niche. If you're selling products about dogs, maybe you also add in tips about dogs and, things that you're passionate about that connect to an ideal target audience.
Absolutely. There's so much that you can do with a channel that will connect to your audience. Or there's so much that having a channel that's based on your niche, it's not necessarily making loads of sales off of Etsy, but there's ways that can be diversifying your income and building up your authority so you do get sales on Etsy. And, sometimes it's just fun to play around with something differently creative. But yeah, we should probably dive in just now to here's my hard sell. Here's why I think you should be doing it first of all, and then we'll get into the data, how to do it. But first of all, let's see if I can sell it for you. So this first slide is the reason I thought to do this. We were talking about covering Pinterest, we were talking about covering Instagram, and when we pulled up on eRank where the social traffic to Etsy is coming from, I was actually surprised. I'd missed this. I hadn't noticed. The main driver is Pinterest. A lot of people come to Etsy from Pinterest. Makes sense, yeah. But second place, by quite a margin, is YouTube. YouTube is driving people to Etsy. So should we use YouTube? It is actually already working. That is specifically people coming from YouTube to Etsy. So it's crafty things. So yeah, I mean, look how much ahead that is of Facebook and Instagram. That is actually crazy. that surprised me. And the other thing, here's some data. So when I went through the sites tool on eRank and put youtube.com in and tried all the countries I could find, pretty much all of them are coming up with YouTube being the second platform in that country, the second website. And it's second only to Google, and Google owns YouTube. So, you know, it's pretty huge. So I'm going to give you some of the boring numbers, because the 2.5 to 2.7 billion active global monthly users. That's the whole planet. How many people have we got on the planet just now? But that's crazy. And to break it down, that's 122 million accessing YouTube every single day. If you want an audience, there's an audience there. And I think it was just this year, maybe last year, YouTube has overtaken Netflix as the top US streaming platform in the US. And in the UK, YouTube is second. Only the BBC is ahead of YouTube in the UK, which is crazy. And it's been watched across all types of platforms. More than half are viewing it on their mobile, but the next up is people watching it on their TV. I've actually had people sending pictures of themselves watching me on the giant screen on the telly. It's terrifying. I was doing makeup for some bizarre reason on that. It's like, you don't want my pores at that kind of definition, guys. No. And the split of ages is actually really cool. Yes. The sort of younger millennial is the top age on YouTube, but it's a pretty even spread of people watching it. And since 2023, 55-year-olds and over have doubled their watch time. So that's like in 2 years, they've doubled their watch time. That's pretty amazing. So
And this is significant because, I mean, just in my age group, at least, most people don't have cable. I mean, maybe that's an overstatement, but a lot of people that I know, they don't have cable. I mean, they do have things like Netflix, but they're watching YouTube episodes of things. They have their own series of things that they watch on YouTube, my family included. We don't have cable. We have, we know what days our favorite YouTubers upload videos, though, and we're very excited to sit down at night and watch, our shows. Basically, it is the equivalent of that.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to throw in Tech Perch's question here, because I'll cover more of the SEO and all that, but how consistent do you have to be with posting content? You do and you don't, because of what Starla said there. This is not an algorithmic thing, but your audience gets used to you showing up at a certain time and a place. You guys know that it's Thursday afternoon or evening or whatever it is. eRank, myself and Starla are going to be live. So if we turned up whenever we felt like it, less people would show up. People are used to sitting down and going, oh, it's Tuesday, I watch this show on a Tuesday, and it's exactly the same for YouTube. So you can sort of build your community into getting used to looking out for you at a certain time. But I will cover it, but YouTube, you do not have to post. In fact, you don't want to post like 5 times a day or something.
No.
Starla has a massive channel. Starla is one of the top YouTubers there. It's the 0.1%. I've got the numbers. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I've got to pull that up. Hang on. Pull it up again. Let's see.
We there we go. Can you see? We have been consistent in our upload schedule now for going on 4 years. We upload a short video every Tuesday, and we go live for the Friday Bean every Friday at noon. Even if I'm not available, I pre-record it and stream the recording live. Because of that, we were able to grow the channel relatively quickly. Love you. We were able to grow the channel relatively quickly. I mean, I think over how long have I been YouTubing now? 7 years, 8 years? I think that reaching the point where it is making $2,000 to $3,000, sometimes $4,000 a month. And I don't take sponsorships either. Most YouTubers are also stacking on sponsorship deals. They're getting, ads, in-video ads where they're recording their sponsored content. We don't accept anything like that. That is just in the raw monetization that we get directly through YouTube. So I think that, like Pam said, it's more about building the audience expectation, because as of right now, when it comes to our live audiences, we have more that tune in for our live audiences than Etsy does when they host their live streams on the Etsy Success YouTube channel.
And Etsy Success isn't consistent.
No, they're not.
So when they throw something up, their audience don't know, unless they're doing a webinar that they've got us to sign up for in advance. But yeah. Right. I'm trying to remember what I'd put on these. Oh yeah. The potential, it's not just for getting seen, right? If you have an Etsy shop or a blog or whatever else, it is really hard to get seen on the first page of Google. But let's see if I can pull up this screen. But if you have a YouTube channel, right, is that showing? Yeah, if you have a YouTube channel, so I just looked in my niche, I just pulled up needle felted dog. So obviously the first thing you're going to see is ads. That's fair enough, and Etsy's doing a good job of dominating the ads. But then on Google, if it's something visual, they'll often show you a images carousel. But look at the images that's coming up. This is Bink Bink, I know them. But their YouTube video, the thumbnail for that is shown up as an image on the first page of Google. And then if we scroll down, yes, there's the marketplace page for Etsy, but then we've got videos. 3 videos from YouTube showing you how to do what you're talking about. So 3 places to get seen there. So you can get on the first page. And here we also have short videos, and half of them are YouTube because Google owns YouTube. So Google pushes YouTube. And again, here's a YouTube channel that's on the first page of Google just for that search. I could never get my shop or a blog or something onto the first page of Google, but you can get your videos. And the same, I looked for like wire wrap jewelry. It's the same kind of thing. You've got the sponsored, and then they show you videos. So that could be you. I mean, look, and I don't even have to pull up the video. People often say like they don't want their face to be shown or stuff. The first one that's showing is just someone showing a top down with their hands there. Yeah, so we've got a whole lot of YouTube gets the chance to show up. In the images, Google is showing YouTube, which is bizarre.
Good thumbnails.
Exactly. Good thumbnails matter so many ways because you can show up there. So, yeah, so you've got so much potential to just to get yourself seen. And yeah, I don't know anyone, unless you're very, very niche, you're not going to build a shop on Etsy or off Etsy. You're not going to build a shop and just get shown on the front page of Google. Anna, love you. Just Googled Etsy coach and we're both showing up in videos.
I use that in my tags.
I haven't, but we do use it here. I should start using that.
Yeah, I use that one. And a lot of people, they can't remember my name, but they know that I say at the beginning of my videos, manager at eRank.com. So one of my top search terms for my channel is the eRank manager.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. I should put Etsy in some of my tags because everyone goes, that Etsy girl.
Yeah, yeah. I also see the Etsy. Etsy is highly searched on YouTube for people just misspelling Etsy. Etsy.
Yeah. That is something I'll talk about the SEO and stuff for sneak peek ahead though. Tags are not really important on YouTube apart from for spelling mistakes. So you can throw in fun things like that. But anyway. And I don't know if anyone else, I have been playing a lot with ChatGPT because it kind of is the future, like it or hate it. I've been playing a lot. And whenever I ask for something, it quite often shows me a YouTube video. And I've been noticing in my YouTube stats, I'm getting ChatGPT is referring me. So this is sites YouTube. So the top referring site to YouTube currently is ChatGPT. That is wild. So even the AIs know that YouTube's a good place to go and get information and stuff.
Do you think that that's tying back to just the keyword optimization that we have possible through YouTube, or do you think that videos that actually include subtitles might be getting prioritized because ChatGPT is able to pull queries based on subtitles added to videos? And
I asked
access our transcript.
ChatGPT. I actually did a whole video on how to optimize for ChatGPT, and I asked ChatGPT how to optimize for ChatGPT. It was great fun. I did have her tell me when she was making stuff up and when it was actually based on a source. But some of the things, all YouTube videos have a transcript now, and ChatGPT is able to get data based on that. But one thing that she did mention quite a lot that she likes, and probably why YouTube's showing up so much, is it's things that are able to be found that are being shared a lot, and people share videos. Like, your Instagram reel or something, they kind of get hidden, but people will find YouTube videos and share them. Even if they hate it, they'll go onto Reddit and say, have you seen what this Starla Moore's been saying? I'm sure nobody does that to Starla, but
All the time.
People are horrible. I think Reddit's getting less vile, but if people are talking about something, the other thing with that ChatGPT loved about YouTube is we can have playlists. So you can organize content into, if we were talking, well, if your niche was making wire wrap jewelry, you could talk about a certain aspect of wire wrap jewelry and have 6 or 7 videos about the thing. You could have a playlist of videos about embedding stones or something, and ChatGPT could look and say, oh, this person is a real expert. They've got a lot of content on that's doing nicely. You can also link videos to other videos, and that's seen as a good factor as well. So there's a whole lot of that. And yeah, ChatGPT can see YouTube does the transcript. YouTube understands what you're talking about in your video. It's even getting better and recognizing my accent sometimes. So it's really good.
Tech Perch said, what do you think is the best days and time to post videos? That completely depends on your audience. The good thing is that when you're scheduling a video in YouTube, they'll actually tell you the best day for you and the best time on that day to post your content based on when your subscribers are most active on the platform. So the best way to know is to just start posting content and start identifying when you go to upload your video or schedule your video. Like I said, YouTube will tell you.
Yep. I am just attempting to find that just now without sharing too much. Yeah, got it. Yeah, YouTube gives us so much data. That's another thing I really like about them. I've got to move you and add you. Yeah, so in your dashboard of all the details, when you just start, just post things, don't worry too much. But once you've built up a bit of a following, we have this in our YouTube dashboard. This is the eRank channel, and it's showing me when the viewers are about. So, oh, what a surprise. It's 8 o'clock in the UK. Thursday at 8 o'clock, most of our viewers are on YouTube. That little bright purple light, that's you guys.
That's our live stream day.
Exactly. So that is, you're seeing, we've trained you guys to show up here.
Is
so
the other one the Friday bean? Is the other one the Friday bean?
The other one's the Friday bean. Yep.
Yay! I knew it. I love how I'm getting data about my channel clearly through the eRank channel because we all share an audience. That's hilarious.
Exactly. That's so cool. But you get the lighter bits are when your audience is online. And for a tip, I mean, obviously you're live when you're live, but when you're scheduling out a video, you can schedule it out just a little bit before your audience comes online. If you haven't trained them a set time, schedule it out a little bit beforehand. So when they come on, your notifications are sitting there and they'll all come in. Yeah.
Yeah. You and if you're scheduling ahead of time, try to not post on the rounded numbers. Like, don't post at noon. My video comes out at 12:15, because if people are popping on their lunch breaks, I want to make sure that I am, popping up right in the middle of their lunch break. So 12:15, everybody's going to say, oh, I'll upload right at noon. I'm kind of trying to like weave into these like dead zones, within how people are behaving on YouTube.
Yeah, people like to post on the exact hour. So yeah, I do the 15 minutes before, Starla does 15 minutes after, because what happens is dead on the hour, YouTube has a lot of notifications to send out. A lot of people have uploaded a video. So always try and be a little bit different.
Yeah. That goes for any social media scheduler as well. If you're scheduling content for any social media platform, if you're using a scheduling app or Meta Business Suite, that's just like a consistent tip that you can use anywhere. Try to not schedule right at noon or right at 1 p.m. because that's when everybody's posting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here, so Starlight gave us a sneak peek into you can make money on YouTube. And it doesn't even have to be from your sales, but I've been hanging around. I've got a lot of friends who are beginners on YouTube, and I've been hanging around, and roughly, right, you're not going to make money immediately. You're probably not going to make life-changing money just with YouTube ads, but it can compound. And basically, in about a year, if you really work on it, you should be able to get a channel monetized. For those that don't know, you have to get, is it still 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours watch time? I can't remember the exact numbers. But you have to reach a certain level before you're allowed to get monetized, which means you start to make money from YouTube ads. You can have members, you can have super chats. This channel's not monetized, by the way, so this isn't a dig for you all to add super chats or something to this. But once you reach a level, you become what they call a YouTube partner, which means you can run ads. So you should be able to get, if you're consistent and pay attention and do what you're doing on Etsy, try and make good stuff that people like, you should definitely be monetized in about a year. So it's not fast, but that's fair. So I just thought, if we assume a small YouTube channel, somewhere between 5,000 and 30,000 subscribers. Now, when I say small, we talk about how most sellers on Etsy aren't selling something. Most channels on YouTube aren't doing great because they give up. They expect to make 2 videos and do great. But less than 3% of channels on YouTube have 10,000 subscribers. So this YouTube channel you're watching is in higher than the top 3%. And less than 1% of channels have 100,000 subscribers. So Starla, you're in the top 1%.
And out of curiosity, just thinking about the consistency of my YouTube channel, I'm sure that at least one of you has been following me for the span of like my YouTube consistency. I've only really been consistent with the upload schedule over the last 4 years. I've been YouTubing since, 2017 is when I started actually uploading, Etsy tutorial type videos, but relatively inconsistent. I became consistent around 4 years ago. I just pulled up just to see, since I've been monetized primarily in that like last 5-ish years, what my lifetime revenue, and I don't mind sharing it, but I'm just curious. We should see if anybody can take a guess as to what that might look like, because I think that people, they either vastly overestimate how much money you make as a YouTuber, or they underestimate it because they devalue the idea of it altogether. So when I say that people overestimate it, for example, I occasionally get these really like weird crack comments where people will say like, you know, oh, well, you're making like millions of dollars on YouTube. And I think that big YouTubers like Mr. Beast, for example, give people the perception that if you have, you know, 100,000 YouTube subscribers, you're making a ridiculous amount of money, which you can if you're doing brand deals and stuff like that. But assuming that you're not jumping into all that and you're just creating content, and you're not trying to, you know, make YouTube the career, you can still make a decent amount of money. 125K, not quite. That's a little more. But at the same time, I also have a lot of people who think that like, oh, you know, it's not worth my time. Well, Anna, I mean, is pretty darn close. Just, you know, since I got relatively consistent, which was about 2022, yeah, 2022, I've made $105,262 just in ad revenue with, you know, I've had like probably a collective like, I don't know, maybe like $100 in super chats. So that is just advertiser money that they have paid out to my channel. You know, you might say, oh, that's a really long time to have to build up. But that's a lot of money to be made just through, again, posting silly little videos on the internet. I mean, and I see people out there who create content that is far simpler than what I do, and they make more money and have more subscribers. Some of the YouTubers that my daughter watches, they're just squishing like squishies and things and slime. And, you know, they have like a nice camera with a top down angle, but they're just squishing stuff. You know, they're eating on camera. There's so many ways that you can make money.
To be fair, a crafty channel, the amount you get per ad is slightly lower, I know, because I've done a lot of crafty videos on this channel too, but your potential for reach is much higher. There are some multiple million subscriber artistic YouTube channels
because anyone can consume that. The problem with me and Pam is we've got a glass ceiling. Our glass ceiling is, first of all, Etsy only has so many users, right? So there's that glass ceiling, but then there's the number of those that are actively seeking information on YouTube specifically. So we do have a glass ceiling. Whereas like Pam said, crafty content, entertaining content, watching someone make something, you guys technically, if you've got, you know, a really cool niche, have a bigger possibility to grow and grow faster than even Pam and I do, just because you likely don't have as low of a glass ceiling as Pam and I do.
Yeah. So I wanted to pull up, this is just a random thing. It's not real, but it's based on a lot of people that I know of. YouTube ads, for most of the people I know that are full-time YouTubers, ads is only a portion of where they're making their money. So if you were doing this, it wouldn't be crazy to think if you were in your niche, you would be making about the same off of increased Etsy sales. Once you build up over a couple of years and you've got following, I mean, I don't even I don't do much crafty stuff anymore. But when I did, people would buy from me, not because I was the best, but because I've got something that Pam made. I saw her make that. I have that, you know, I have that in my very hands.
There's a relationship.
Exactly. And I see I've spoke about her before. Royalty Soaps is a soap making YouTube channel. I am never going to make soaps, but I started watching hers because they're very visually beautiful. She was making like burger soaps and things like that. So I started watching that. But what she'll do is she makes a range of videos over a month or so. And this is her next drop, her launch. So when the last video comes out, she tells you these things that you've sat and you've been invested in and you've watched them for a couple of months, that goes live in her shop at 2:00 tonight. And take a guess how quickly they sell out. They're gone. So
even the customers, when you're viewing something, and this is something that I encountered with my first business, Art by Starla Moore, my jewelry business. Anytime I listed stuff, it sold out right away. and I wasn't doing YouTube for that business, but I was I had a really big Facebook group. And when the audience is watching you make something or feeling like they've been involved in the process and they're seeing it and they've made that decision while you're making it, oh, that's the thing that I want. They are going to wait and wait and wait. Like, they're like a vulture, circling overhead, just waiting for that item to be available, because their sense of ownership and their desire to say, this belongs to me, will take place before the item is even made available for sale, because they, in their mind, this item is already mine. They just need to complete the checkout process. And YouTube, like Pam said, allows you to be able to form those connections and be able to, have those individuals watch you make those things. So they're actually feeling like they own it before you've even listed it.
Yeah, there's a lot. I love watching crafty channels, and I spend far too much when they launch things. I do not digital paint, digital draw. I keep trying it. I keep thinking I want to do it. But when Jazza on YouTube launched his digital brushes, he hadn't finished speaking about having launched his brushes before I'd already paid for them. It's that fast. I didn't know I was going to buy digital brushes that day, but I own them. So I think very much your increase in sales takes a while to build up, but I think that could very much at least be as much as your Etsy ads. But then you've got, as Starla said, there's things like brand deals. Now, myself and Starla don't tend to take these things. It's a bit difficult and scummy to navigate. But as an artist, there's another way around that. I've put affiliate at the bottom, a sort of work in between. There's certain things, if you get your channel big enough, Amazon has affiliates where you can, as an influencer, have an Amazon shop front, which is not necessarily anything you sell. It's just things that you've compiled that you're using. So when you're making stuff, people will come and go, where did you get that hammer from? Where did you get that needle from? And you go, it's in my Amazon shop. People go there, they buy it, and you get a cut of it, and it's stuff that you were using already. But also, you can affiliate to your suppliers, the people that you love. Now, I see this all the time. People will say, oh, I don't want to share my supplier because then other people are about to copy me. Not at all. If your supplier's cool and wonderful, you're supporting them and you're keeping them in business and building a good relationship with them. And you can make a bit of money out of helping them, helping you. Other things that I've had from that is I've been paid to make videos on my suppliers' sites and stuff. They pay me to make a video because I'm already using their stuff. So there's way to make things. And again, courses, you can, guys, if you're doing digital stuff, if you can make courses. I see Debbie's asking about digital things. Absolutely, you can make courses. And see, if you're doing something digital and you're thinking, I don't know how to do this, your YouTube channel doesn't have to be to sell your product. But if you're making digital things on Canva or whatever software you're making digital things on, people want to learn how to use that software. And I bet if you're doing this as your passion, you know how to design the things, you can talk about how to use the software all day and night. Make videos on how to use the software. You'll still actually make sales, but mention your shop in 1 in 10 videos, you'll still make sales, but you can get affiliates through the software that you're using to talk about the software that you already wanted to talk about. You can get Etsy ads based on the software, and teaching a digital tool, teaching some kind of software like that is real evergreen content that can really blow up.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and if you wanted to create something more of like a, if you didn't want to teach that, I mean, you could always just do something really, really simple. Like it looks like games, like printable, like digital games, printable. I mean, you could do like thrifty tips, if your products are relatively low cost, thrifty party planning. There's so many things that you could do with that.
Yeah. But if it's games, play the games.
Yeah.
Let us see you playing the games. Thing with YouTube, you don't just have to do long form content. You can do shorts, which can be fun little skits, daft, trendy things that include your game or the art. The other thing you can do is lives. You're watching a live just now. People love to just come and watch someone craft or play a game, or if you have not even a great personality, but if you can be engaging enough, stick on the live stream and sit and do your crafting, play your game, do your thing while live, talk to your audience. People love that. As I said, the over 55 doubled their watch time in the last 2 years. They don't necessarily want these jump cut super fast videos and things. They want to look at I seem to fall somewhere in between. I sit and watch absolute tons of short videos, but also there's times I sit down and say, no, I don't want to have to keep choosing videos. Entertain me for an hour, YouTube. Come on, get on with it. So people watch all sorts and all different types. Yeah, I was just checking there. I couldn't remember if I had any more slides yet. So I thought this was just going to be the quick opening section, but hopefully, have I sold you yet on YouTube? It is the place where you can get found. It is the place where you can get found on Google. Again, even when I was talking about shops, visual things, but if you're doing tutorials for things, Google doesn't just share. If someone searches for the question that your video answers, Google shares your video. And unlike if you've made a blog, Google or it's AI or something gives a snippet and your site never gets the credit. If somebody watches the video from the Google homepage, you still get the views. So that's super cool. So you'll get found first. You get found on Google with YouTube. But YouTube itself is a search engine as well. You also, as I've said here, show, don't tell. People love to see what's going on. See what your items are. First of all, we spoke about how videos are important on Etsy. But if they're seeing you make the item, they absolutely understand why it's worth what it's worth. That's something that really helped with me. Needle felting takes hours. If people sit down and see it happening, they ain't going to question why it doesn't cost $5. Build trust and personality. Yeah, I think most of you guys know, like a few years ago, Etsy contacted me to have me speak for them to teach people about SEO. What are my qualifications in SEO? I talk on YouTube. That's it. I built trust by putting my face out there. And it's the same. Like I said, royalty soaps. If I'm going to buy soap, she's probably an average soap maker, but I think she's great because I've watched her and I've listened to her give all the tips and be an expert on it. So she's not only is she trustworthy, she's also the personality I want to buy from. And so the super lazy part of it is nothing is as easy as you just do nothing. You make one video and things happen, but a viral video on YouTube can last a lot longer than anywhere else. There was a needle felted cat's head video. I saw a trend for needle felted cats was going about. And I made a video. I was planning it out. I was so excited about it. I had 3 different camera angles. I was doing all the do properly. 2 of my camera angles, the files corrupted. It was an absolute nightmare. It wasn't the video I wanted to put out. But that was driving views for over 5 years. One video that I made, it took me a few days to make. It was hard work, that one. But that was driving views for years. So, yeah, literally, you can be rolling in money, views, sales while you're sleeping. So, yeah, that was just supposed to be my quick section on selling YouTube to you.
Well, we
But
have lots of questions though. Well, not lots, but we have a decent amount. So I think that means that they're interested. Lorenzo had said, how much and where do you share the videos you create on the various social medias? Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, Twitter, etc. Or should you? I share them everywhere. And I think that you have to remember that each of these individual social media platforms are also tied to an algorithm and can also be promoted on Google. I have a lot of topics, as long as they're optimized well, that when I post them on Pinterest, even because people look for tutorials and things on Pinterest, they use Pinterest like a search engine. I will sometimes, get good hits from Pinterest from people looking for tutorials. I share my video, every single video that I do, and the live streams consistently, same time every week on my social medias. And what I've noticed, especially when I'm, promoting these videos at the same time as they post or sending them out to my email list, I think that it's similar to when you list a new item on Etsy and you get a lot of activity right away, and Etsy says, oh, good job, yay, let's show this to more people. YouTube's very much the same. So when I send out an email, 15 minutes after a video goes live, and I'm posting on social media 15 minutes after a video goes live, not only do I have 15 minutes of the organic traffic that I'm getting directly from YouTube, 15 minutes later, I have all the traffic that I'm sending. And that's how I take a video that I've posted, and I have 30 minutes of straight engagement, some coming directly from YouTube, people who have subscribed to me, who got a notification that Starla just uploaded a video, 15 minutes of traffic that I drove myself through, my external means. And then there's a good 30 minutes of activity where YouTube can then say, this video must be interesting to Etsy sellers because all of these Etsy sellers are watching it. We will take this video and we will show it to more Etsy sellers. Now, unfortunately, videos that aren't as sexy in nature don't tend to perform as well. That's like more advanced tutorials and things like that. They tend to, even if I've put a lot of work into them, even if Pam has spent 6 hours editing something, unfortunately, the videos that we tend to put the most work into and that we find to be the most useful are the ones that don't get as much exposure because
I can tell you, if I sit down with an annoyed look on my face, say, what the heck's Etsy done now? Turn on the camera, talk to the camera, and upload it. That'll do worse. That'll do better than if I sit and I plan something for weeks. I script it. I go and film B-roll. I love making videos, but people don't watch them enough to make the wonderful effort worth my time. So yeah, unfortunately, it's the sexy things that sell. But just to add on to, although, right, firstly, I'll answer the question, where do I share my videos? Yeah, I don't. But it does help. But I'll do a quick explaining of the Etsy algorithm, because I have had this from actual people at YouTube. They're search and discovery people. So firstly, when you launch your video, what happens, you get the notifications that's shown to your followers. That's shown, it's not necessarily your subscribers, it's shown to your most engaged followers. So you might find if Starla posts a video, you get the notification that Starla posted a video or Starla went live a minute ago because you're her avid followers. But if Etsy Success posts a video, you might not hear about that for 2 days later because you don't follow Etsy Success so much. So what they're doing is they're testing. They have this little first group of followers who've watched Starla before, and they put out her video to them. They send the notifications, they show it in front of them. And if they respond better to it than usual, then they try the next audience. And if they do well, then they try the next audience. So that's why you'll often get notifications from someone you don't follow so much when they've got a video blowing up that's doing really well, because it's like loads of people like this, we'll show this to even more people. So that's one good point of it. But what Starla is saying with sharing it in other places and bringing in people. Firstly, YouTube look at what they call view velocity, how many views you're getting in a period. And the most important period that they show us, we see it in our data, is the first 48 hours. The first, very first bit is very important, but the first 48 hours, they're gaining ideas about it. But something that they let slip in an interview the beginning of the year was also talking about, right, if you have a very small channel, that first, where they're pushing it out to your first followers, it's a very small group of people that they push it out to. They have what they call impressions, or how many times they're showing it. What they base that on is how many views you had last week. This is the crazy thing. So if you push out your videos and a lot of people suddenly see it in a week, next week they'll give out more impressions. They'll say, Starla brought in loads of people. We're going to show her to more people. So it absolutely does make a difference to show it. The only problem is, if you're not, like, Starla is wonderfully active and good on her social medias. If all you're doing on Facebook, Instagram is like what we say, don't do with your Etsy shop. If all you're doing is, I made a video on YouTube, go away from Facebook and watch my video, Facebook's going to stop showing you. So you can kill your reach on the other sites if you don't make it good, how you're sharing and how you're building your community on the sites. So I'm lazy and not consistent enough on social media to be able to share my videos, because it would annoy my followers, because I'm not posting enough of other things, basically. But
yeah, you've got to have it's about making sure that you're covering all of your bases. So, if you're active already on social media and you're already posting, and your video that you upload every Friday, we'll say, is just one of 7 posts that you make every week because you post once a day, then it can absolutely be one of your weekly posts. If it's your everyday post, or if it's the only post, then it's probably not going to perform very well.
exactly.
Let's see. KJ Craft said, I make videos on how to make the things I sell. I add the link to my Etsy listing. It gives people a better look at the product, and they get to know me. And that's awesome, because you're building that nice relationship. I think that, like Pam said, a lot of people are afraid that if they show off their process, that they're competitors, or that, someone's just going to learn how to reverse engineer the products and make them themselves. But at the same time, I ain't making soaps. I'm not making jewelry. Just because I've watched someone make something, it doesn't mean that I'm going to go make it myself. In fact, I'm more likely to want to buy the thing that I saw you make, because I saw that, how much love and care you put into it.
Yeah, you can get the sort of triple there. You get the money from people watching your video, and then you get the money from them going to your supplier to buy the thing because they've decided they're going to make the thing. And then you get the money from when they realize that it's much harder than it looks and they can't do it and they're annoyed and they come to you to buy it. So you can get the triple whammy there, because I think most creative people do tend to overestimate what we can do, and we watch the video and then we end up buying the thing because we couldn't actually make it. So yeah, don't be worried about people copying you, because you're going out and you're being the leader. You're being the authority. They're just trying to sniff at your heels. Don't worry about them at all.
Oh, they do steal my ideas. They, however, can't steal my quality and heart for the things I make. And if they're stealing your ideas, they're not your ideal target customer anyway. And they're someone who's looking to craft, not looking to purchase. They're a completely different audience. Sasha Hutchinson of Your Frugal Friend just looked at her channel, because she said that I make $2,000 a month from YouTube. And she's, decent amount of subscribers, not underscoring, but I make about $2,000 a month on YouTube with over 100,000 subscribers. And she's nearing 4,000 subscribers, but she has channel memberships. And it looks like she is a digital product coach, where she's showing how to make, watch me make a bingo game step by step, easy AI headshot, commercial use fonts, graphics, and mockups for Etsy sellers. Like, she's still, teaching, but she's also making a significant amount of money on YouTube with channel membership. So that's another whole way. And she's making as much money as I am on YouTube, as somebody with over 100,000 subscribers. So that's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I know of people with 1,000. In fact, I know of people who aren't even on the YouTube partner program are making life-changing money with YouTube because they've got such a niche that the brand deals and things that are very focused are actually very profitable for them. So yeah, I think it's such a good way to diversify your income. And secret side thing, see if you're worried about Etsy shutting down your shop, which I think we all have in the back of our head somewhere. I'm worried about it, but myself, Starla, we know if Etsy shuts down our shop, we're going to make a fortune in complaining about it on YouTube.
Oh yeah, like God forbid they shut down one of my businesses, because in fact, some of the most viral content on YouTube is YouTubers talking bad about Etsy and talking smack about Etsy. Anytime, I'll create a ton of videos about how to skyrocket your Etsy sales and how to optimize your Etsy shop and all of this, and get a couple thousand views. But if I get on there and I'm like, Starla is mad at Etsy, those are the videos that blow up.
So that's it. If anything happens, you've got a fallback. And also, you're building like any other social media, you're building a community. So if you want to move off of Etsy, you can move somewhere else. But you can also make the living on YouTube. You could, as I said, I started with trying to get a home for my foster dog, and I've ended up working for eRank. How did that whole thing happen?
That's how I ended up working. Debbie, are you here? Debbie contacted me because I found this free tool called Etsy Rank, and I made a YouTube video about it. And then Debbie messaged me, and she's like, by the way, I know this guy. Do you want to meet with him? And then I'm making more videos. And then the rest is history. That was so long ago. But
yeah, I did. It was one of my first Etsy tips one. I did an eRank video, and I think it was Debbie that spotted that as well. And that was put on the eRank blog for a little while, and I was so excited. So my little channel that was getting like 10 views a video suddenly got a whole lot more because Debbie and Anthony liked my video. So.
Debbie is the reason that we exist. Thank you, Debbie. It's all thanks to you.
Exactly.
Let's see. But the other Debbie, who makes, digital products and, digital games and things. She said, yes, I sell courses and digital products and affiliate marketing on how to create, etc. But how might I use YouTube to drive more traffic to Etsy? How to drive traffic to Etsy, or is that a waste? Honestly, I'd go up and look at Sasha Hutchinson of Your Frugal Friend, her YouTube channel, because it looks like she would be a great, channel to follow, because it kind of sounds like she makes products that are very similar to yours. And I don't know if she's only doing tutorials, but again, it sounds like you were already covering your bases with the how to make. And you're specifically just looking for ways to drive traffic to Etsy. It sounds like you've got a lot going on. And I just don't, I'm trying to think of a really great way, because we talked about playing the games and stuff like that, but I'm thinking more of oh, Sasha's my BFF and we co-teach. Then, man, because I was going to say, that's probably where she came from, right? I'm trying to think if there is, I'm thinking of videos, thinking about the younger generations of moms who want to save money. I'm thinking about those younger generations who never got to save a nest egg. Younger millennials who are pinching every single penny. And if you've got the time, I dare say that creating an entire channel, which, we've already got, her channel is, Your Frugal Friend, doing a frugal extension of that and doing frugal planning and then really like narrowing down on a niche, maybe like, you know, frugal planning for new moms, frugal planning for millennials, whatever it might be, thinking about this very in-demand need, especially now, you know, things are so expensive.
The financial, like the frugal type channels are so huge.
Yeah.
So, and good news for you, they also come with a great cost per click for ads. So you get a great ad money from it. But specifically to drive traffic to Etsy, if what I'm thinking of here, if you're doing a frugal thing and you're showing how to live frugally, you throw in your product, you know, think of the problem that you're trying to solve, make the video about that problem. And at the end of the video, it's just simply, and I was using my template to keep me on track. I was using this, and you can get it at Etsy. That's it. Make things that are interesting, that you are showing your target audience what their problem is and how your product solves their problem. And at the end of it, push them to Etsy. But we did mention, like, about on your other socials, on YouTube as well, don't make your focus be sending people to Etsy. Make that's just a side thing. That's like, oh, this thing you see here, yeah, that's in my Etsy shop. People don't come to YouTube to get sold to. They come to get entertained, to fix a problem. But if you build up a massive community and they're enjoying seeing what you're making, they're enjoying your advice for how to live their life, for how to improve their life, then they'll want to buy your digital products. You know you're doing well if you don't even put a link to any of these things, and other people start finding you and saying, where's this? And other people post your link. That's what's going to happen if you're really cool. And just use if your things fix a problem, use your things in a video and people will come to you.
Yeah, I was thinking about all the like nesting parties. That was one of the new trends this year, where it's like helping people like build their nest or prepare for a baby, almost like a baby shower. But you could do plan and, you know, blank party for only blank dollars. Plan a woodland baby shower for only $100. Plan a back to school bash for only blank dollars. I think that you could literally think of like a million different types of party or gathering, and then for X dollars, plan out the content first, figure out what the dollar amount is, and then slap that in there. People love stuff like that. And I noticed that with YouTube thumbnails, anytime I put a dollar amount on a YouTube thumbnail, even if I just make it up, if I'm like holding sad, $0, and then I've got this one and it's, you know, $100, and I'm all excited, that video is going to get clicked because people can understand comparatively the difference between $0 and $100, and because of that, they're going to be more inclined to check out that video.
Random number stops them as well. So plan this party for, don't say like $15, say $14.97, because that's like 14. That stops you. Anything.
Right.
It's stopping the eyeball, stopping the click to be like, huh? And then people click on it and watch it. And also it sort of feels more authentic. Do this thing for under $15. You're like, fair enough, that's just a rounded up number, whatever. That exact number? Wow, I've got to see that. That's got to be real.
You're likely going to have a weird oddball number like that anyway. Once you start like totaling up the things that they'll need in order to plan that party, it's likely not going to be a straight like $15, even if you have to include in something like the tax, just so you have that crazy number. Look, Pam, we just came up with a YouTube channel idea.
Absolutely. And but this is the thing, once you start having ideas, you have ideas. And I was thinking, as Stella was saying, that once you start making videos, you're going to have ideas for videos that are going to end up with you making products, you know, thinking up new products. You're going to have people in your comments say, oh, but how do I do this? And you make a video and you make a product to help them, and it's all going to feed into it. Once you start being more creative, it feeds creativity, and you have more ideas and you understand your customer a whole lot more.
All right, it is 4 on the dot, but we will grab these last questions since they're from the same person. Can you add a link to your Etsy listing on the YouTube video description, or do you have to have it in the video content? I would do both. I would put it in the description. YouTube video. Yeah, I would put it in the description, but in all of my videos, I add them as cards, which are the things that play up, in this little corner. And I'll say, if to get my download, click here, and I will point in the corner of the screen, and then that thing will pop up on the screen, which you can set up directly through YouTube. They're called cards.
Oh, I Nelly, that's reminded me of the thing. Right, this is not Etsy shops, but if you're looking to diversify, Shopify and YouTube, it's not a partnership, but can work together. So if you have a Shopify store, you can have clickable, shoppable links from YouTube.
So shelf, right?
That's the word. Yes, people can buy things. They can do. I used to do it with like Teespring and stuff, but you can have your actual Shopify store, and when you're talking about products, it can just be there and shoppable. And Etsy just do that with YouTube. Come on, that would be so much easier, but they don't.
Then we had one more. I have a YouTube video mentioned in one specific Etsy listing where it says, if you aren't sure how to do this, check out the video. Is that okay? Yes, Etsy actually says that if there is like a tutorial or something that will better explain the product, that we can have a YouTube link. The only thing that you cannot have, for example, if you have that video embedded on your Shopify store, your website, and then they can also buy the product on that website, and you're linking that, that's not okay. But I'm sure Etsy can identify outbound traffic going to YouTube. They probably know that that's a YouTube link, and they know that you're probably just trying to help educate that person or show them how to use something. So there used to be a whole big article about that. I don't know. It's been long ago, but
yeah, I've not heard them talk about it for a while, but you're allowed things like that. In your listing, it won't be a clickable link, but you can absolutely have it there. The main thing that Etsy don't want you to do is to be trying to take the sale off of Etsy. And also your Etsy shop's not going to be a great place to promote your YouTube, because people don't come to Etsy. Like, if it helps, a small amount of your audience will click through, small amount of your customers. It's not going to drive a massive amount of traffic, but if it helps, absolutely do it.
Right. Think of it more as like something that's going to help convert that person that's really, really curious about that purchase. They're going to watch that video real quick and probably click right back off of it. But, maybe that helps your Etsy shop overall, because you need to bridge that gap in understanding, and you're not able to do that through a listing video because maybe it requires sound, or maybe it requires a longer length than what Etsy allows. So, but guys, it is 4:03. Thanks so much for hanging out. Let us know in the comments, especially if you're watching the replay, if this has been of interest to you, and if you are considering starting a YouTube channel. We would love to actually check those channels out if you've got them. So you don't even have to link your channel. If you just comment and say, I have a YouTube channel, then we can click your name and see it. So maybe we'll come back to the replay comments and see how many of you have channels.
Yeah. I will definitely check these out, and I'll be back checking the comments if you have any questions. And let us know if we've maybe inspired you away from being YouTube's not a thing for Etsy sellers to perhaps it might be worthwhile. Yeah, I hope so. Anyway, guys. Don't forget, on Tuesday we have a webinar with myself and Brian. We'll be talking about the new category report, our new tool. So we're doing a beginner's guide to that. I think we're the beginners as well. So yeah. Okay, guys. And yeah, we'll see you next week. I have no idea what we're talking about next week. So if you have anything you want us to talk about, I think we've run out of social media that we're super excited about.
I know. I don't ask us to do like Twitter or something. We have no idea.
No. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. And I'll see you next time.
It wasn't easy, no, but with eRank, we're trending now. eRank. Now my shop's a rising star.